you want to start?
Yeah. Mr. President, thank you for your time this evening. Can I just ask an initial question? In Timor between 1975 and 1999, under Indonesian occupation, some 200,000 of your people were killed. And yet, those principally responsible for that genocide, and I think it's reasonable to call it a genocide, have not been brought to justice. They have not been tried. And I understand that at least part of the reason for that is because you thought that bringing them to trial might prejudice the opportunity for your reconciliation with Indonesia and the development of collaborative arrangements to the benefit of the Timorese into the future. Can you talk a little bit about how your people reacted to the fact that those who commit crimes against humanity have never been brought to justice?
First, great pleasure, privilege to talk with you both for our dialogue. Your question is absolutely relevant, very important, goes to the heart of our thinking, our policies, actions. It is a question that has been asked of us many times. And in an ideal world, Suharto of Indonesia, who presided over the 1965-66 massacre of more than 1 million people, should have been put on trial, and not to forget Ferdinand Marcos in the Philippines, the Thai military in the 60s and 70s, and many other dictators throughout Africa and Latin America. Many of them were maintained in office for years and years thanks to the Cold War rivalry. One group of them was supported by the then Soviet Union, another group of them supported by the US. The Americans were supporting all dictators in Latin America. In Africa, in Asia, Soviet Union and the Americans shared the privilege of supporting dictators of the left or right. So, in the case of Indonesia, and by 98, 99, when the Suharto dictatorship fell, there was an opening for possibility for dialogue, intensified, enhanced dialogue under the auspices of the United Nations to resolve the 24-year-old conflict. Suharto was ousted in aftermath of the economic financial crisis in 97-98, aftermath of, as consequence of student demonstrations, the military withdrew support to Suharto and he fell. There was a new transition president, Fani Habibi, pragmatic. He spent years and years, more than 20 years in Germany. It's something he learned in Germany was to be pragmatic. And he simply wanted to resolve the problem of Timor-Leste. He said, such a small country causes us so much headache. And it's worthless. He even said it in one interview, that country has only rocks, they have nothing else. He has a valid point, we have a lot of rocks in Timor-Leste, but we also have oil and gas, and we have people, not only rocks. So we decided to go for a dialogue. There was a referendum. In spite of the problems that happened after the referendum, the results were announced. Massive loss of life, destruction. Indonesia honored the commitment in the agreement with the UN and Portugal and us to honor the result of the referendum. So we decided then to look at the present, look at the future, not allowing ourselves to be hostage of the past. No matter how ugly, how difficult the past was, hardly a Timorese family didn't lose member,
Yeah.
some lost the entire family. I know individuals who lost everyone. There's only one survivor in the family. I personally lost two brothers, one sister, and one sister, luckily, she was killed, and we saw the common people saw her being killed, so they buried her. Lucky in the sense, at least they were witness, they knew where, so they buried her, they kept watch on her grave for 20 years, until we reburied her. The other two, only recently, a few months ago, their remains were found, but we were not sure that those remains belong to them. We are still waiting for forensic investigation. We know that in ideal world, those responsible for crimes, any crime against humanity, genocide, should be put on trial. And but in our case, we decided that the greatest injustice committed against the people of Timor-Leste was the complicity of the international community and in abetting the crimes committed by Indonesia. Because the circumstances of the Cold War, etc., etc., many explanations, rationale for that. The world changed with the end of the Soviet era, the end of the Cold War. Gradually, democratization took place around the world. Suharto regime fell. And there are new people around the world in leadership. Look at the United States. When the problem of Timor-Leste began, began with Nixon, with Gerald Ford, with Kissinger. By 1999 it was Bill Clinton, a whole completely different person. And Bill Clinton was central to a resolution of the Timor-Leste problem. Australia had its own part in ignoring the problem of Timor-Leste in the 70s. But again, in retrospect, could Australia really do something at that time, in the height of the Cold War, post-Vietnam, with the Americans obsessed with security in Asia, having lost credibility because they packed and left Vietnam? So, by 1999, there was a whole new generation of leaders in Australia, new people. Australia was critical also for the freedom of Timor-Leste. So we decided, the world changed, we are free, let's forgive everybody and let's embrace everybody. Yes, it was not very popular. We were criticized by our NGOs, some people, some victims. Yes.
Mr. President, my question comes as a consequence of Professor Zivcek's question. But firstly, I'd like to, on behalf of Gora Dialogue again, reinforce the remarks that Spencer made. At Gora Dialogue, we are thrilled to have you as our keynote speaker. This is our first and most important, in some ways, colloquium here in Cyprus. And it was fantastic that you could make the time and have the generosity of spirit to come and to join us on this most important occasion. So, thank you so much. Arising out of that, our colloquium has been, as you know, very kind enough to come on to our sessions. Our colloquium has been an exploration of justice. And my question leaves off Spencer's question. You were given the Nobel Prize in 1996 for your efforts in achieving, quote, a just and peaceful solution to the conflict in Timor-Leste. Slightly different perspective from Spencer's question. How just was that eventual settlement?
Good point. How just was it? Well, if you look from the perspective of traditional Western philosophy, jurisprudence, and the modern international law, particularly post-World War II international law, human rights law, that established the Nuremberg Tribunal, Tokyo Tribunal, yes, the outcome of Timor-Leste conflict and the resolution of the conflict and our policies did not conform with the norms of international law in terms of justice and punishment of perpetrators of serious crimes against humanity. Because what happened in Timor-Leste in the previous 24 years, in 99, fall in the definition of war crimes, crimes against humanity. Genocide is debatable. Academics who argue that the case of Timor-Leste, although it was a big number of people, didn't fit in the narrow definition of what constitutes crime of genocide. What should have we done consistent with international law? Ask the Security Council to set up a special tribunal on Timor-Leste, similar to the Yugoslavia tribunal, similar to the Rwanda tribunal, etc., etc. But we decided not to, and that may then say, yes, it was not just, because thousands of people who lost their lives, tens of thousands lost their lives, the surviving ones who still bear the scars, physical and psychological, emotional scars, feel that they are being betrayed. But for us, leaders, and that's what leadership is all about. Leaders do not take decisions, because sometimes I would say it's a bit of demagogy to say you have to listen to the people. Well, leaders, at least in some circumstances, you are there to lead and not to follow the people. Because the people are easily manipulated, or they are rightly emotional, rightly angry, rightly demanding justice as they want it, mean retributive justice, mean arrest, imprison, mean execution. Yeah, because you listen to people who talk. No, those guys, those people need to be put in prison, need to be shot at. That's how people talk.
So what you're saying is that although the representative people who are in control of the fate of Timor-Leste, although they're democratically elected people and they have the confidence of the people, sometimes the leaders have to ignore them and take a different position.
Well, in the sense that the leaders have to have the courage to tell our people, and that's what we told our people. We must move on. We bury the dead. We look after those who are alive. We care for the victims who are alive. It is not forgetting them. It's not forgetting the past. It's not simply not allowing the past to dominate our present, our actions, our thoughts. Not allowing ourselves to be hostage of the past.
To tie this question into the very things that we've been looking at, Mr. President, are you able to say, from the description that you've just given and the tension that you've just described between the leaders and the people in the lead, what philosophy or ideology or set of values did you deploy in having to arrive at that compromise?
Well, sometimes we are asked this question whether our position is shaped by our faith, Christianity.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes.
Maybe because I grew up from when I remember as a Christian. You spend years and years in Christian teaching churches, and so you instinctively, automatically, you don't think, well, I'm a Christian, so I have to do like this. No, your whole personality, your way of thinking is shaped by your belief, your faith, and that is Christianity. So you act just almost instinctively, you know. You don't have to go to the Bible and consult again, you know, what the Bible says, or what the bishop, the church.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, exactly, yeah, it's already in your DNA. But also animated, shaped by realism, in that we have a powerful neighbor, Indonesia, where the military is still very much entrenched, where the military are fearful of the future of democracy, what democracy can bring against them, to them. So we, and Indonesia facing also a very complex transition from dictatorship to democracy. Indonesia is not a monolithic country, ethnically or religiously speaking. It has moderate Islam, but also radical Islam. They have a incipient democracy movement, but they also have ultra-nationalists. And then they have ethnic religious conflicts at that time, and they have for generations in Ambon, Christian, Muslims, in Kalimantan, Dayaks, and the Buginese. Indonesia at the time, 98, 99, up to 2001, was in grave danger of instability. Thousands of people were killed in the aftermath of the fall of the Suharto regime. And maybe there was the hand of the hardliners in the army, you know, behind the scenes, instigating instability, so that the country say, we still need army. All of it. So we decided we should not create additional problems to the Indonesians by introducing a very controversial element, and that is international tribunal.
So, just can I summarize it this way? The instinct of your people, and led by you and Shanana Busnell, was an instinct towards Christian forgiveness, but mixed with a fair dose of realpolitik.
Yes, absolutely. Realpolitik, pragmatism, sympathizing, understanding with the other side that is moving away from dictatorship to hopefully democracy in Indonesia. And also, yes, because of our religious Christian belief, all of us went to Catholic school, some to seminary, so we were shaped by years and years of studying under in the Christian churches. So we instinctively, that's how we are. We were positively indoctrinated about forgiveness. Yes. Because Christ, till his last seconds, minutes of life, spoke of confession, of forgiveness. So how can any of us on earth not able to fulfill, particularly when what we have been fighting for, freedom and justice, had been achieved?
Quite so. Now, I think I may have cut you off, Spencer.
Yes. Sorry. Can I ask you one last question? As you're aware, I worked for a couple of years off and on with the Timor-Leste Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And it was one important facet of effecting reconciliation amongst your own people as a result of it. Because some people fought with the Indonesians, other people were victimized by the people who fought with the Indonesians and so on. So there's a lot of division in the society. As you look back on it now, how do you evaluate the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and its contribution to achieving a more peaceful settlement of the disputation in East Timor?
As you mentioned, we understood and we knew because we were part and parcel of the conflict, of the problem. We had to be part of the solution, and we knew obviously that it was not all black and white. that the bed was all in one side, the Indonesians, and the wood of all us Timorese. Well, the first casualties that happened in Timor-Leste 75 were not done by the Indonesians, ourselves, killing each other. Then the Indonesians came, and over the years, obviously the Indonesians took over the killing.
Yes.
You know, and many Timorese, whether politically they believe or through violence, because supporting integration in Indonesia by peaceful means, in my view, is not a crime. If someone, a Timorese, tell me, I want to join the US, well, it's not a crime. I want to be part of planet Mars. Please yourself, it's not a crime. Crime is when you use violence to try to change a given political or social situation, when you kill other people. So though in Timor we had many people who collaborate with the Indonesians, but politically, they believe in joining Indonesia. Others involved in violence. So we first had to heal the wounds among all these Timorese. But the greater problem were not with the Timorese, but with the Indonesian side. But the problem of Timor-Leste is not like South Africa. We have a third party, external party. So we did a two-track approach. One is domestic, the National Commission of Reconciliation, with a strong support from the United Nations system and donor countries like Australia, Japan, Portugal, the US, everybody helped. And we draw a lot of lessons from South Africa.
Yeah.
Members of the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission came to Timor-Leste advising us to shape our own Truth and Reconciliation. And it was enormously successful. I think one of the most successful things that we have done in my country has been the national reconciliation. We have so many formerly members of pro-integration in Indonesia, in our parliament, in the cabinet, in the army, in the police, and also very successful reconciliation with Indonesia. I would say no two countries in Asia have better relations than Timor and Indonesia. We have better relations than with Indonesia than Indonesia with Malaysia, or Cambodia with Thailand, and Malaysia with Thailand, not to mention China and Japan, Korea and Japan, etc., or India and Pakistan. Exceptional. And I have to say also, it has been relatively easy to reconcile with Indonesia, partly because throughout our struggle for independence, we never once demonized the Indonesians as a people. We never demonized in our literature, political speeches, Muslims, because Indonesia is majority Muslim, Timor is Catholic, and yet we never demonized Muslims. And never once in 24 years of our struggle, our armed resistance, because we did have an effective armed resistance, never once they touched a single Indonesian civilian, and no Indonesian soldier captured, and we captured many throughout the years of the resistance, not one was executed or tortured. After a few months with our people, they were set free going back. So after independence, when we say the Indonesians are our friends, and it was not surprising, perplexing to our people, because they never heard from us that they're evil, they're devils, etc., etc. So, and the Indonesians know that because they know we never kill a single Indonesian. They know that we never kill a single Indonesian soldier.
That may be a fantastic point to stop.
Thank you.
Great interview. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.